Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Sachin Karnik here. Good to see all of you. Today is the 5th of June, 2024. We are very, very fortunate and again, very, very happy to see Dr. Berman and her gracious, consistent guidance for all of us and all those people who are also listening to these recordings later on and will listen years down the road for her really wonderful and very enlightened meditations, perspectives. I do want to say that that this is a very great blessing for all of humanity that Dr. Elizabeth Berman, who is a licensed psychologist, has dedicated so much time, energy, effort as a service, as a seva. It's the word in the Sanskrit word is seva, which means to serve humanity. And that attitude, that type of consistent effort. Attitude is one thing, but to place consistent effort for the last 3 years, starting from our mastermind group all the way to where we are now, it's a real blessing for all of us. I have had such a tremendous opportunity to talk to her in depth and get guidance from her and to listen to her. And we have now these monthly retreats also. So we want to take this message, forward, just word of mouth, and eventually there will be more systematic PR. But it is a powerful journey that we are all on together. It is a non-hierarchical journey where there is sharing of knowledge and ideas and perspectives and realizations, across our core group and other people also. So along those lines, I want to welcome you all to this evening's beautiful meditation session that Dr. Berman will conduct. Just two quick announcements. We do have our retreat this Saturday, in-person retreat, and then we have the annual retreat on September 21st at Killen's Pond. All right, so the registration is open for that online through the website. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Berman, and we can begin.
Thank you, Sachin. And I think one of the things that you said that was very profound for me was this non-hierarchical platform. And I see it, feel it, and experience it as a way of being in community, of being with other people who come with such open hearts and open minds that we all lift each other up together. And it's a gift to each and every one of us that I'm just so grateful to be a part of this. And I'm so grateful for Wednesday evenings when we get together. So I was thinking about the fact that I'd been talking for a couple of weeks about these higher frequency mental attributes or faculties of the mind. And I thought it might be interesting tonight if I did an exercise with you guys. So it's not a meditation per se, but it's a way of tuning into ourselves and using these faculties of imagination and creativity and perspective in a way that can be a very practical application to our daily life. So I'm just going to talk you through something, and hopefully it will be meaningful for you and you'll be able to engage in it. And then at the end, we'll just open it up in the time we have left. I have another meeting after this one, so I have to be mindful of time. And just share with each other either experiences from this evening or just in general. A good show on TV. A recommendation for that is good too. So I've titled this Using Our Higher Mental Resources and tapping into what quantum physics and quantum theory offers us on a very practical day-to-day level. And the question is, can they be used in healing? healing our bodies. And my attempt at exploring that question is what I'm going to guide you through tonight, and you can have your own answer to that at the end of it. So if we accept that everything in the universe, well, this is like the Cliff Notes or the Dummy's Guide to Quantum Theory, that there's a basic assumption that everything in our universe can arise spontaneously. Every potential exists in the here and now moment and can arise. That means that anything is possible and everything is possible. Everything that has, is, or will exist exists now, just in different dimensions. Some people call this string theory. But how could we actually apply this to our own health? And if we choose to use our mind and use the quantum field, this field of energy, that everything is energy, and that it's all held in the field, and there are different dimensions to the field, but the field transcends both space and time. So if something exists, or even the potential for it to exist, it's there someplace in the field. And so we can talk about, well, we can time travel in the field, but really what that means is we think about things, we explore things as though they're in the future or the past. But actually in the field, the quantum field, there is no past, now, future. It's just all energy, the everything of our universe. So I want to offer you a guided journey using the quantum field as the playground for our thoughts and our experiences in this. And I would offer to you that, remember, all potential exists in this quantum field, that it's an infinite field beyond the limits of time and space, and that all possibilities exist within this field simultaneously. So the other thing I want you to contemplate or acknowledge is that there are different versions of you. If you think about the version of you when your first day at school, it's different than the version of you that graduated from high school, say, or the version of you listening to my voice right now. So that's what I mean by these different versions of you or me. And they all exist in this quantum field. It's just hard for our mind that has been so trained to think in terms of time and space to let ourselves kind of float above that or out of that limitation. So I would like for you to simply relax, find a posture where you're relaxed, and either close your eyes or now, or later I'll cue closing your eyes again, because it's easier to do this work with your eyes closed. You're not so distracted by the visual stimuli coming in. And in this moment, I ask you to get in touch with your thoughts, your feelings, your experience of your current level of health. And if you could choose one thing that you're working on, that you're improving, you're trying to cure, you're trying to get better from, recover from, but choose one thing. When I did this work, when I was writing this, creating this, I was thinking about the health of my eyes. So that's a very specific thing. And you can use this in many different ways, but for now, tonight, choose one thing. Perhaps you've had an injury and there's an arm or a hand that's not working as well as it did, or just choose something. And I would offer to you to allow yourself to imagine the other you that has gotten better than you are today with this health issue. And then imagine that there's another you that has experienced a progression of this health challenge, and you're not better at all. In fact, this challenge has limited you in ways. And then there's the you that's now that perhaps this level of health and or challenge will be static and stay the same. And as we move forward with this, I'd ask you to remember that at one point you were a two-celled organism and that you grew in your mother's womb from this two-celled organism to a fully formed body that was birthed and then moved through all the stages of your life up until the body you have now. And I would offer to you to remember, to acknowledge that in that process, there was an original template that holds the genetic codes for that construction of your body in your mother's womb, for that state of your body at all the different points in your life. And that original template for your body still exists in your DNA codes. One of the things we know from epigenetics is that when we can turn certain gene pairs off or on, and that changes what's going on in our body. And that's the work that we do of what do we focus on. If we focus on something bad happening, something getting worse, then we're more likely to experience it getting worse than if we focus on it getting better. There's a greater probability that the trajectory of whatever we're concerned about will move in a positive direction. And so we change these genetic codes in our DNA by what we focus on, how we use our mind and our intelligence in our everyday life. What we say, what we do, what we think, our actions, they all affect this epigenetic potential within our codes, our DNA codes. And remember that there's like 97 or more % of the human genome that's been mapped that they don't know what it does. I think the saying is it's junk DNA, and all it does is it creates a body in utero. That's a pretty huge thing when you start to put that together. Perhaps that's the original template. And then you put the notion of epigenetics together. And then we think about the quantum of, wow, what happened to my genetic code from this healthy, vibrant body that grew from a little person up to a taller, bigger person whose brain developed in different ways to do more things over time. But also then when we start thinking about the information we've been given about the aging process, that there's a deterioration there. But does there have to be, right? This is why I'm asking you to think about the quantum field and yourself holding this quantum energy within you, within your actual physical body. So if you're not already with your eyes closed, please let them close. Relax your body and just focus on the in and out of your breath. And let yourself come to a relaxed awareness of you, your body, your thoughts, yourself in this moment. And if you haven't already chosen something, some health challenge, let's call it, that you'd like to see improvement in, perhaps you're currently seeing a doctor or someone about it. And now I'd like you to use your imagination, to use your creativity, and to shift your perspective and see yourself 10 or more years from now. See you, the quantum you from the future, right now. This other version of you. Just relax. There's no wrong way to do this. What are you wearing? And what are you doing? The quantum you 10 years or more from now. What do you like to do? How do you spend your free time? Do you have hobbies? What kinds of conversations are you looking for? What things that you experience, this quantum you, are enjoyable, make you happy? Who's around you? Who are you with? What people are with you? What do you do for fun? What excites this quantum you and makes you happy? So what is this future version of you like? Can you make a commitment to just spend a little more time hanging out with the future you and getting to know this person? Remember, your imagination is so important here. And your creativity will let you see the future you if you let it, if you relax in it. Like having a tea party, an imaginary tea party with your dolls or your stuffed animals when you were younger. Using this perspective of seeing yourself 10 years or more in the future, we're looking at ourselves, we're experiencing a potential self from a different place, in a different time, in different circumstances. And I'm encouraging you to ask the future you about the health issue that you chose at the beginning of this session. How is that issue in the future you? How are you relating to this issue in the future you? Is the issue the same as today? Is it better than it is today? Or is it worse? And if you in the future tells you that this issue is better, then ask your future self, what did I do to get better, to make this issue better? What is required to heal, to facilitate the progress of healing? Or perhaps keep yourself on a steady state through the next 10 or more years so that there's no degeneration in this condition. Ask your future self, what habits did I have to implement in my life now in order to get to where I am in the future? What different treatments did I consider over that time? What did I let go of? What treatments didn't work? What did I do when I was told that my condition was incurable, that it was worsening, it was inevitable with the passage of time? How did I respond to any hopeless communication that was thrown at me in the now? And what did I do to have the courage to reject that and move on to facilitate the healing process in me? Ask the future you, what did I do with the doom and gloom of fear-based thinking when it was thrown at me, when it was all around me, and when I caught myself going down that road? And how did the future me act in spite of what others were saying? What actions did I have to take to preserve health and vitality in order to create a good, vibrant quality of life that I'm enjoying in 10 years into the future? This is a very important conversation because this future version of you with whom you're consulting knows so much that can educate, inform, inspire me now. What's at stake here is a level of recovery from something that's troubling now and a preservation of my health and vitality. The future you can explain to you what has to happen today, right now, to achieve this future you that the current you wants to become, wants to embody. This future you is waiting for you to live in the reality of the future you. What mind shifts are required in the now? What has to drop out of my life? What has to be welcomed into my life in order to manifest, to embody, to be this future me, that I can begin the process or maintain the process of creating this me that I'm talking to from 10 years into the future. And I'm just going to give you a few moments of silence here to let yourself relax into an ease with talking to a future aspect of yourself. Asking whatever questions you want to ask, knowing that the you now, if you went back to talk to the 8-year-old you or the 15-year-old you, would have things you'd want to share. And so the you in the future, 10, 15, 20 years from now, has beautiful, valuable information to share with you now. And just give yourself some time to be comfortable in that. Even if it feels like a game right now, the chances are that it's real. That quantum theory is the best thing we have in terms of what's really going on. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Hopefully you'll turn on your videos and unmute yourself, and let's talk about this. Let's share this. What was this like? Is this new to you? Are you familiar with this kind of work, and how do you use it? So welcome everybody, more people than when I closed my eyes earlier. Who would like to share? And be candid. You know, if this just didn't feel comfortable to you, give me that feedback, because my goal is to offer something that's of value. And knowing what's not of value is helpful in finding what is. So please offer whatever experiences feel resonant for you after trying to do this. Are you going?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Berman.
Hi.
I love co-creating with my future and quantum healing and actually co-creating everything. But as far as my health, I envision myself in a very nice bathing suit, really toned after a lot, and riding my
Wonderful.
bicycle. Yeah, at a higher level of energy because my energy has definitely um, slipped because I haven't been as busy as I used to be in the past. But um, I really believe in it. I follow Joe Dispenza, and of course, you know how he healed himself in the quantum field doing this very same practice. And I will admit that when I first started in long-term care, I was in social work and admissions. And I would do a little ritual every morning, imagining families coming in that really needed the help for their loved ones and getting the help they needed and filling the beds because that's the only way we could still float. And it worked beautifully. So it does work. If you just have to believe it and practice it. And it's about we co-create our future, our lives, our well-being. So yeah, I really loved it because I'm definitely someone that believes firmly in that
Yeah.
that we can heal ourselves and we can become better and we can succeed if we believe it, envision it, see it, feel it, taste it. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. That's so lovely. To have you know what this is and to have practiced it, and then to bring in that, you don't have to go 10 years out. You can say by the end of the day, between now and the end of the day, I see myself having helped the people who come to me, right? That this is such a powerful way to use our mind to literally change our experience of the world around us. And I think we're changing the world at the same time
Yeah.
because we interact with each other, and maybe other people have no idea what we're envisioning, right? But the me that shows up with that positive vision for myself gives different energy to people I interact with than the me who's just kind of like trudging through a day.
Yeah. It's setting intentions. I also get a lot of parking spots. My family doesn't know how I get my parking spots. I said, because before I get there, I envision it there. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, my husband has the parking spot. I don't know exactly what it is. I used to call it his guardian angel, or the fact that he grew up in New York City. I don't know why, but he always gets good parking spots because he expects to, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah. So other people, please share if this is new to you and whether you struggled with it or whether you want to ask some questions about it. Just give us the gift of your voice and your thoughts.
Okay, so um, I I definitely, well, I start to say I definitely believe that this is true and possible, but I want to kind of backtrack on that because I'm gonna contradict myself when I tell my story, because if you truly believe, it works. And so evidently somewhere down the line, I've lost my belief or my ability to believe. So that said, um, I was diagnosed with a very serious autoimmune disease, connective tissue disease, um, many years ago, and my children were very young. Both I had two children, and I I absolutely refused to believe that I was gonna I was going to die, that I was going to succumb to this disease. This is during the time when I found Unity Church, as I've mentioned to you before, and so I got into visualization, which would basically be, the same thing that you were just doing.
Exactly.
And so I would visualize, being healthy. I would visualize, these little soldiers in my in my bloodstream going out and killing all these, harmful cells or whatever. And interestingly, long story short, I I wound up doing very, very well. I was on prednisone for several years and never had any kind of a problem with it. None of my
Wow.
organs were affected by it. Um, I and so I got through, handled it very well. My doctors were, I won't say amazed. They weren't saying to me, "Oh my God, you're a miracle" or anything like that. But they were saying that this was like really great, and that it was my mindset. And um, so yes, I did that, and I believe that it's possible. Now, the reason I say I'm going to contradict myself is because the older I get, um, the the ailments that I have now creeping up, um, they just I just kind of have given up. I'm like, oh well, it's because I'm 71. Oh, I have a friend who says, "Oh, stop worrying about all of this thing about getting sick or how long you're going to be around or whatever. We only have a good 10 or 15 years left." And so that's like sticking in my mind that, okay, no sense in trying to fix all of this stuff. So something has happened to where I am allowing myself, and I don't have like major things, going on, right now, but I have things that I feel myself kind of moving backwards, the older I get. So that's why I said perhaps somewhere down the line, I stopped believing in my power.
So are you open to my asking some questions and offering some possible places to look at
Sure,
this?
sure.
So, we've talked, I think, a lot of different ways about the old paradigm, right? The neural networks in our brain, the way we see the world is we're taught that, right? At a time when we don't question it. And I would offer to you that, okay, the other thing is in that the vibrancy of your belief of staying healthy when you were younger, right? Part of that was perhaps fueled by your desire to be there for your children in the way you want it to be, right?
Absolutely.
And adult children, when we have adult children, we're in a different phase of life, right? And I would offer to you that sometimes in those life stage transitions, some repressed or suppressed guilt or unworthiness starts to come up. And it offers a way for the old paradigm to start being more powerful. Or another way of saying that might be that perhaps at this stage in life, whatever stage we're in now, it takes more consistency and more effort to fight the urge to just fall back into, oh, well, this is the way it's going to be no matter what I do, right? That level of complacency. And so I would just offer that there are a couple of things if you want to look at it. Just look at yourself, consider without any judgment, is there any unworthiness, that's holding me back from that full embrace of belief that I can do this, that you had when you were younger?
Mm.
Is there any sense of guilt, right? That I slacked off or I wasn't, and not to judge it, because how can we be in human bodies living in a world of duality, right? Something, because it's not the opposite. That's the way our senses bring information into us. So how can we not feel guilty or judgmental or angry or fearful at different times, but to just recognize it and not to feed it by either trying to push it away or beat ourselves up for having those feelings, thoughts, and emotions. Perhaps just having, a conversation. I think I use the term invite them in for tea, right? And say, what is it that you're trying to tell me here? I'm sure that there's a reason. What would you like to tell me? And then you can say, well, I don't really need that kind of information anymore, so I can let you go now, right? And that's a way literally to start releasing and clearing out some of this stuff that's been repressed over the years. For whatever, it doesn't matter how it got repressed, it just matters, it's showing up now, right? And the other thing I would say is the world is so chaotic now. There's so much polarity banging against each other, right? That we're affected by it, right? So some of why we may not be as vigilant or as sharp as we used to be in our practice of creating the world and the person we want to be is because there's a certain amount of energy that's just trying to keep ourselves stable in this almost warlike energy that's surrounding us.
Mm.
So I would just, that gentle, loving part of yourself that can say, here I am now, and it's amazing I'm here, and I still want to practice these things, and I have a belief, I know it works. Just, okay, can I love myself into a state of relaxation where I can just start doing it again? So I just offer those thoughts.
Those are some, yeah, there's some good thoughts, because just listening to you, I started connecting, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I think I know what I'm doing here.
How great. See, this is this beauty of a community, right? Of bouncing information and experience off each other in a way that's like, oh, right. Right? That it would have taken us so much longer to come to on our own. So thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So who else? We have some more time. Let's use it.
Dr. Berman, I want to
Yes.
thank you for such an outstanding and such a very powerful presentation, meditation. The one thing you just said right now, the full embrace of belief. I mean, hold on, I'm sorry, hold on one second. Yeah, that speaks volumes. I mean, that phrase, I have never heard that phrase that way before, and I mean, that really struck me when you said that. Because I think when I look at my life, I certainly have a lot of things that I want to do in the future and want to see things happen and whatnot. But in listening to today's meditation and seeing to what extent do I hold that, I mean, what is the strength of the belief? I've always thought about beliefs in terms of strength of the belief, but the expression you use is even is levels above. I mean, I would say that is at the top level, the full embrace, the total embrace of one's belief of what is going to be or who I am or what I'm going to, I think there's a lot of religious connotations to that also. But there's a lot of connotations in terms of the unfoldment of one's life, of my life experiences day to day into the eventual actualization of that in the present, because it doesn't happen in the future. We talked about that before. It happens in the present. So, I mean, I think that really it just clicked beautifully. And I'm going to really meditate on that, because I think that speaks like volumes. There is that phrase is extraordinarily potent, extraordinarily potent.
Well, thank you. I don't know that I've ever used it before, but obviously it was meant to happen now, right?
Amazing, amazing,
But
absolutely
I
amazing.
would offer to you that perhaps what you've just said is another way of expressing epigenetics, right? That there's a level of embrace of a belief that actually energetically turns off old pairs of genes that are creating a disintegration of some part of my body, right? And
Yes.
because the word on the street from the scientists is this is incurable, right? So that all of that has to be overcome on some level. And so I don't know how to go into different cells and turn certain genes off and on manually or even chemically with drugs or medications or something. But I can focus on where my attention is going and what thoughts I'm focusing on.
Okay, so in that state that you're just describing, would you say that the uh, extraordinary energy in the belief that is within the mind, that energy within the belief embraces us?
Yes, and maybe from a different perspective, we could say it. I just said it in terms of genes getting turned off and on, right? But what about that original template for our body, right?
Then,
We came from 2 cells into a complete human body.
yes.
And that template grew that body from infant to, all the way through all those stages to wherever we are now. That template is still a part of us, encoded in our genes. And perhaps our belief, right, is the epigenetic key to unlocking that code of a vibrant, healthy body that was built for longevity, healthy longevity, right? Not that there's a cap on, oh no, after now, it's all downhill. Well, if I don't believe that, right? And this exercise of greeting my future self, right? That forces me to move out of the old paradigm of this is the way it's going to go, to imagining who is this, what does this future me look like? What excites the future me? Am I still going to be out in the garden digging until it gets dark, trying to grow things, or is something else going to come, right? So using all of those qualities of imagination and creativity and shifting a perspective, talk about a shift in perspective. Imagining yourself 10 years from now. What do you look like? What kind of clothes are you wearing? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What do you want to say to me back here now? So that I can, give me a little boost here in terms of the belief, the total embrace of those beliefs of my power to create. So somebody
Yes.
else.
Amazing.
I've
Well,
got
I don't know
every,
that I'm comfortable with the exercise. I find it interesting, but imagination and creativity are not my strong points. So
well,
I have
maybe you could go
I
on.
have a hard time feeling like what I would be looking like or what I might be doing or whatever. I know what I would like to project, and
It's,
I'd like to like not change
well,
and maintain what I have today, and tell myself how to maintain that, maybe change lifestyle changes or things like that. But it's I'm on the fence with the exercise. It's not that I
Well,
don't believe. I do believe in the power of focusing on a positive outcome. And I like that you shifted a little bit and you said, oh, well, you can just put it to the end of the day
yeah,
instead of 10 years in the future. So that was a lot more manageable.
accessible. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I would offer to you that what you would like to project, because I think I'll speak from my own experience. Using imagination as an adult, I would limit myself by doubting that I could really go there. And then I was just kind of faking it by saying, well, I'm going to look kind of the same way and want kind of the same things. But what if that's exactly, do you know what a miracle it would be if you had all the strength and vitality and wisdom and what 10 years from now, that those 10 years did not age your body or diminish your capacities in any way? That'd be pretty amazing. So that's a part of this work, right? That you did imagine it. You imagined a future in which you didn't lose anything. And so I just want to compliment you on that, so you have some faith in your ability to do this.
Okay.
When you were speaking, I thought, I'll bet if I asked her to imagine what her room that you're going to clear out would look like when it's cleared out, that you could imagine that, right? But that's in the
Yes.
future.
Yes.
So you've got
That's
that capability,
okay.
right? You've got
Yeah.
it. You're just doubting yourself. So thank you so much for sharing
Thank you.
that.
I'd have to say that I feel maybe a little bit the same way, a little awkward about that kind of meditation, so to speak. But yeah, I'd like to believe in good things. So I don't think I do that. I do a little about myself, but I should probably do more.
You could, when you were speaking, what I realized is I still in my work, there's a hesitation for me of asking for too much. And that comes back to this level of unworthiness, that's still hanging around in my subconscious mind that I picked up through whatever childhood experiences I had. And I'm not bad for having that hesitation or that energy. It's just that's what's there, right? And I can look at it and I need to invite that sense of you can't ask for too much. I need to invite it in and have some tea with, have a little tea party with the limitations of what I can imagine.
Yeah.
Right. But if we can be childlike, not childish, but childlike, and laugh at ourselves, oh my goodness, after all these years, I haven't learned that I'm okay. I'm supposed to be here. It's okay to want health and longevity and vitality. Go for it, girl. I would tell every one of you, girl, guy, right? Go for it. And yet I'm saying, well, maybe that's asking for too much, right? To myself.
Right.
But hey, if that's where I am now, then my future self can be telling me, hey, you check in with that. That's one of the things that's affecting, your eyes that you want to basically cure. And I need that reminder. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
That is
I think that was even one of the things I wrote down. What did you have to let go of? My future self, my 10-year future self was saying, asking me, what did you have to let go of? Or I'm asking my future self, what did I have to let go of? And through this experience now with all of you, I'm getting in touch with unworthiness. Why am I unworthy of a miracle?
mhm,
If I think about it, I think I'm worthy. So
mhm.
I can recognize the unworthy energy, that hesitation, that holding back, and just say, okay, I got it. I see you're still there in the cellar of my subconscious. I'm opening the door. You can go. It's okay. We're done. So Milu, give us your beautiful voice.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what you were saying, and everybody's making comment. I was thinking a little bit differently. My thought, what I have been thinking about, or really want to be able to accept what's is will be happening, or whatever happens, because I know from my life experience everything works out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I am still thinking in 10 years, I want to be at a higher spiritual path level, accepting whatever is there, but be very happy with my life and enjoy with the same group of people, go out, do things together, see the world, just be happy, be myself, and not worry about what's going to happen, how am I going to feel. If something happens, I'll figure it out, but just enjoy myself.
Yeah, and I would offer to you that that's a description of enlightenment, right? That in enlightenment, in this quantum field of total and complete potential of everything, that there's no right or wrong. There's simply energy, and it's all going to end up in the same place anyway, back where we came from, back into that quantum field of consciousness. So I see that your sharing is a beautiful expression of you want to be an enlightened being that's still in a body. How beautiful.
So I wanted to say something to Debbie when she says she wanted to believe this. I heard this somewhere in my journey through enlightenment. A lot of people say, when I see it, I'll believe it. But then there's others that say, when you believe it is when you see it.
Yeah.
And I really love that. And if we have time, if not today, maybe Saturday, I recorded. My mom's going to be 96 on August 11th, God willing. She'll be here with us to celebrate. But there's a lady in her facility. Her name is Phyllis, and I love her. She doesn't remember from one day to the next that she's 93, but she recites this most beautiful poem about faith. And I recorded it, so I will like to share it with you, maybe on Saturday, because I don't know that I could do it. Yeah.
I have to be off by 8:15, so I'm not sure, right?
I'll share it with you all on Saturday morning.
Oh,
it's just beautiful. And then she says, "How old am I again?" I said,
she's probably ageless. She's aged out of aging.
Yeah. Yeah, and my mom too. She says, "How old am I going to be?" I said, "How old do you feel?" She goes, 60. I says, "How old are you?" I said, "Well, I'm going to be 73." She goes, "You can't be." I said, "Well, Mom, I certainly can."
Oh,
Yeah.
how sweet.
So, but working with the elderly, I have learned that I have met people that are in their 40s and 50s in our facilities that think really old and don't look ahead and don't realize and don't believe that they can be healthy and grow old. And then there's people like this, my lady Phyllis and my mom. The age doesn't matter. They play the music, they get up and they dance. They have to hold on to somebody, but they dance, you know, and they recite. And it's, you know, they believe, so they're seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
you.
the key is belief. The key is absolutely belief. Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
setting that intention, being grateful, but setting this intention for all these other good things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very important.
This has been so beautiful. Thank you, everyone.
Well,
Thank you.
Dr. Berman, I just wanted to make one comment
Oh,
on
yes,
this.
Sachin, sorry,
This,
I
no,
don't
no,
mean
no,
to.
no, it's fine. I know you have to go into in a couple of minutes here, but you know, this thing about the full embrace of belief. I mean, that is going to stay with me probably for the rest of my life. That is
Oh.
so fantastic. There's so much wisdom in that. The more I look at that, the one thing that comes to my mind, which I just want to share with the group on this, is that when there is full embrace with a belief, assuming that the belief is not harmful or something, you know, that's really beneficial, taking us forward in our path, etc. The full embrace is such that the distance between the individual and the actuality behind the belief rapidly closes without the factor of psychological time and without intra-psychic resistance.
Yeah, and that's a whole other way, a whole other fertile ground for investigation, because I wonder if that's not a way to talk about the quantum.
Exactly.
Right? And if all of that 90-some% of our genetic material that they can't identify is in fact the encoding of quantum reality. Do you know the potential to manifest in the present from the quantum field? That's where I've been thinking lately.
Yes, definitely.
I don't understand that, what you just said. Could you repeat that a little differently?
So my understanding of the decoding of the human genome was that in the end they said, well, about 90-some%, we don't know what it's there for. And I think they say, well, it's just there so that it's just there to create the human body in utero, right? So if the quantum is a dimension of reality that doesn't have the limitations of time and space, right? So it means and again, man, I am not a scientist, right? So this is my limited interpretation or understanding. But it means that every possible potential of something manifesting is present everywhere at all time in all places, right? That's what the word or the phrase entanglement means. You know, a molecule in sub-Saharan Africa and a molecule here in Wilmington, Delaware can influence each other instantly because there's no time and space separating them. So that sense of fully embracing a belief, right? The belief that this healing power to manifest a healthy, vibrant body built for longevity. That the total embrace of that belief without the hesitation, without the unworthiness, without those contracted energies getting in between the belief and the manifestation of it. That's what I was saying to Sachin, is he, when he expressed the way he expressed it, that's what I was saying, that yeah, I think you just articulated what I think about this quantum field and quantum genetic material and our belief systems. Because the old paradigm has a lot of limitations in it, right? At
Okay.
least I was taught, lifespan, these things happen, it's inevitable. The things that I don't really want particularly. If they are, I know this is what I do believe. If those things I don't particularly want to happen to me, I know I will have the support to handle them with dignity and grace. That I don't ever doubt.
Okay.
Yes.
So is that helpful on any level? Did it help explain it, what I was trying to say?
Yes, yes. No, this is very interesting.
Okay, yeah,
I know, Dr. Berman, I think you have to go and just
I do.
okay, so just one more quick comment on this, and that is the visualization that we can do, right? To visualize is one level of the mind, but then the internalization of that visualization at such a level that it is so. Not only, well, it might happen, it could happen, this, all that doubt is gone. So the doubt is completely obliterated in the total internalization of the visualization. So I just and that's the full, I think that's another
That's
way
the
to
full
put full
embrace, right?
embrace.
Yeah.
It's the
Right.
full embrace.
Oh, no. Yeah, I got you both now. Because and that's why I said in my situation, I believed so strongly that I could do that. I could turn my health around, and I was not going to die. I don't care, no way, no how. I'm going to be fine because, like you said, Dr. Berman, I wanted to do that for my children. I had to be there to raise my children, and I did that. But I think also some of the things that you presented to think about in terms of how I lost it, because I
Yeah.
do believe that the power of belief and totally, believing is what makes the difference. But I know that something has left me. So,
Right, right.
but,
And I would offer to you that, and this is another whole thing, but if we do have soul contracts, right? That perhaps a part of your soul contract was you were going to be there to raise those children. So there was no question. I mean, and our soul contracts, I don't know. Mine has not been fully illuminated for me before I had to deal with all of it, right? It's kind of in retrospect, I think, I'm not quite sure how I got through that, but I'm sure my soul helped me because it was part of the contract of what I was going to do when I came here, right?
Right.
So you see how all these different levels and
Yes.
dimensions and layers of what's going on at the same time. And
That's what
I
I
see
love.
those as perspective, right? That's why I talk about perspective as one of the higher functions of the mind.
Yes.
Okay, now I really have to.
8:13, Dr. Berman.
Okay, let's have three.
This was wonderful.
I'll have three. I'll cue 3 in breaths and let's send our blessings out with the out breath. So breathing in. Oh. Breathing in. Oh. Breathing in. Oh. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Berman.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.